Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Together today we will go over the city of Tržič, which is located in the northern part of Slovenia, and it is important because its route continues through a mountain pass that borders the successor state, Austria. First we arrived at an important house, which is supposed to be Tito's villa, the former president of Yugoslavia, who we are. Even today, this house has a fairly well-kept garden, where we can see the abandoned remains of a high standard of rich people. This villa is in a very secluded location, and therefore we assume that it was used for rest, and that Tito had his own secret, quiet corner. Now we walk through the park, where we find at the beginning the abandoned old fish ponds. There is a tennis court next to the house, and a swimming pool is hidden under the house. The house is decorated with beautiful shutters on the windows and stands in a sunny location with a beautiful view over the city. Behind the swimming pool, we find a long path that leads to the town. To make the location even more magical, there is an old church with defensive walls next to it on the hill. This church is very old and I think it could actually be from the time of the castle, which we will see a little later. On the house, we can also find the memorial plateau of Count Lamberg, and the old defensive walls around the church were used in Slovenia to protect the population from attacks by the Turks, in the distant past of the 15th and 16th centuries. Here we can see that the church stands on a hill with steep sides, which also contributed to a better defense. I think that ceremonies are held in this church from time to time, as it looks very well preserved. In the church, we can also find beautiful paintings from the olden times. Now we continue our walk down the path, over the paved road again into the forest on the macadam road up the hill, and after about 15 minutes of walking we arrive at a flat terrace from which we can see the remains of the walls of the Gutnberg castle from the right side above. But me and my friends can't walk on the road, but always have to turn into the forest, where it usually becomes always interesting. We also had a metal detector with us, so we soon set out to explore this mysterious location. First we stopped under the hill on which the castle stands. We tried to find something interesting with the metal detector, but we only dug up some junk, which of course we took with us. Then we came to the hill, on which we can see the remains of the walls of the old Gutnberg castle and some wooden structures, as restoration and maintenance work is said to take place here, and they even organize events from time to time. Gutnberg Castle was mentioned for the first time in history, in 1156. It was owned by Count Alberon of Gutnberg. Later, Duke Henrik of Carinthia gave it to Peter of Lamberg for formal residence and protection under castle feudal law. It is known that the last owner of the castle was Count Layberg, who got the castle when he bought the town below the castle in 1444. In 1511, a strong earthquake struck the castle. After the earthquake, there was a lot of damage to the fort, but it was never repaired, and unfortunately the castle began to fall into pieces. When we walk around the castle, we can feel a special energy, and the remains of the walls can conjure up many things with a little imagination. The remains of the observation tower, and the living room, we can still see well today, and many other historical things. There are the remains of a wall, and behind the wall you will find a farm toilet if you need it. Please clean up after yourself, and the world will be a much better place. In this wonderful ambience of old walls, unfortunately, we also found some trash, which we picked up and threw into the trash can, which can also be found between the wooden constructions. Throughout history, the castle has been referred to as the Dark Castle, on which the first Count Ziga Lamberg is said to have been born. The legend tells about the cursed princess of the castle, who was the daughter of the king. She waited a long time for someone to save her. She got bored and started making animals out of dry branches. Take a good look around and you will discover many animals made of wood.